Hello, this is Cathy Cassidy and I'm here to read you another chapter of Scarlett. I am recording this a little bit later in the day and I've noticed that the camera keeps kind of doing a bit of flash sometimes, so it floods with light. So if it goes a bit weird on you, I don't know why it's doing that, but sorry in advance. I had a few shout outs to do. To the people who are commenting on the YouTube channel and making me feel like I'm not just talking into thin air. That's Francesca and Helen and Sea of Spells and Hunlover123601, Delilah, Natalie, who shared her baking disaster with me, and everyone who's commenting on Facebook and elsewhere too. A special hello to Ali and Holly, who I know are listening. I smile, Holly, every time I see the rainbow on the door that you sent to me. And Ali, I smile at the idea of you dancing around your kitchen as you listen. And Kiki, my lovely friend who's still not well, sending a big hug because I know I wish it could be a real one, but hopefully you will be feeling loads better soon. And my lovely friend Helen, deputy head, an absolute hero of mine who is, giving me strength all the time, and I really hope that we get to meet up again soon, but you have been an absolute hero. So here we go. It's chapter 6 of Scarlett, and Scarlett is actually in the car on her way to her new home. So here we go. The journey to Killimore is hell on wheels. The Morris Traveller cruises at 45 miles an hour, and pretty soon there is a mile-long queue of traffic behind us, waiting to overtake. I wouldn't be surprised to see small children on tricycles whooshing past us. It is a bit of a drive, Dad says. I thought it would give us a chance to catch up. I don't think so. We drive through open countryside, past dozens of smart ranch-style bungalows fronted by pillars and tall gateposts topped with stone eagles and lions. I maintain a gloomy silence. I do a double take when we pass gateposts topped with stone cats, lop-eared rabbits, and finally what looks very much like penguins. Different, isn't it? Dad smirks. Yeah, it's different, all right. It's a foreign country and a crazy one. As well as the loony gateposts, I spot several garden shrines with brightly painted statues of the Virgin Mary, and one swish modern bungalow with a trio of ancient rusting tractors in the garden. There are endless ruined cottages overgrown with ivy, green post office vans, and alarming yellow signposts written in some kind of foreign language. Even the car number plates are weird. The Irish have their own unique style, Dad says, as we chug past a pink and orange painted building that seems to be half pub, half petrol station, with a sideline in hanging baskets and sacks of coal. An old man in a flat cap and tweedy waistcoat is snoozing on a deck chair by the elderly petrol pumps while a tethered goat chomps through one of the hanging baskets. I peer back over my shoulder to get a better look and see that the building only has half a roof. Interesting, huh? Dad grins. I pretend I'm a million miles away, somewhere quiet and peaceful where there is no crazy landscape, no smell of leather and polo mints, no stupid questions. You have to talk to me sometime, Dad says. Want a bet? I retort, and then wince because he's tricked me into answering. Typical. The car journey takes forever and then some. I close my eyes to discourage further conversation, and when I open them again, the landscape is different, wilder. We've turned off the main road. We're clattering through small twisty lanes, edged with tall hedges, starry with purple-pink flowers. At some places we have to slow down because there are chickens in the road. And all around us, hills and mountains rise up, big, silent, spooky. This is Killimore, Dad says, as the Morris Traveller wheezes through a sleepy village tucked into a fold in the mountains. There's a teeny school, a church, and a bunch of time-warped shops that look as if they've been painted by a colourblind toddler with a palette of violently clashing colours. The main street is strung out along the most desolate stretch of coastline I've ever seen in my life. A huge grey ocean rolls away into the distance, brooding beneath a sullen sky. Amazing, isn't it? Dad grins. It's like being on the edge of the world. It looks like the back of beyond to me, but slightly less exciting. The cottage isn't actually in the village, Dad says as we head back into the open countryside. It's 7 miles on near Loch Coyle, woods and fields and hills all around. Very peaceful. Peaceful? I want to scream. We drive past bleak moorland where big chunks of ground have been sliced away and stacked in heaps. They still cut peat from the land the way they have for hundreds of years, Dad tells me. Just wait till you smell your first peat fire. Connemara is a magical place, Scarlett. Not like the 21st century at all. More like the Jurassic Age, I say sweetly. I can tell. We crawl onwards, twisting up mountain lanes, dipping down into a vast empty valley. The houses fizzle out except for one tumble-down cottage with donkeys in the garden and a selection of derelict ruins overgrown with ivy. Then through a stand of trees I glimpse a long strip of silver-blue water that glints in the afternoon sun. That's Loch Coyle, Dad tells me. Loch is the Irish word for lake. Sounds just the same as the Scottish word for loch. Fascinating, I scowl. The name means Lake of the Hazel Tree, Dad says. There's an old hazel at the tip of the loch that marks a holy well or spring or something. People still come to see it. It's supposed to have magical properties according to local legend. I fake a yawn and Dad abandons the running commentary. We're close to the water now. Loch Coyle looks cold and still and timeless, rimmed on the far shore with silver birch trees that dip their toes into the water. Beyond the woodland, a huge gaunt hillside rises up, smudged with heather and gorse. Almost there, says Dad. We drive around the tip of the loch, turning off onto a lane that's so skinny it might not even qualify as a footpath back in London. There's grass growing up through the middle of the road. Unreal. The car shudders to a halt outside a whitewashed cottage with red-painted windows and climbing roses all around the doorway. Well, Dad says, this is it. The cottage looks like it's escaped from a picture postcard. A stone workshop with a tin roof stands behind the cottage, and strewn across the neatly mown lawn in the front are a pink bike, a pogo stick, an abandoned Bratz doll. A couple of chickens mooch about in the flower beds, and there's even a neat vegetable plot. It looks like Dad got his country cottage dream, anyhow. A tyre swing hangs from a tree, swaying gently in the breeze. My mouth sets into a grim line. Dad grabs my suitcase and grins at me, that old lopsided grin I know so well. Don't be nervous, he tells me. They don't bite. Too bad, I think, because I do. The fridge is crowded with magnetic letters that spell out, "Welcome, Scarlett," and the kitchen smells of roast meat and gravy. Yuck. I drop my eyes to the floorboards, scowling. "Scarlett, this is Holly," Dad says, and my eyes flicker upwards against my will. Holly looks about 9 with mouse-brown hair scraped back into pigtails. She's setting the table with plates, glasses and cutlery, and she looks nervous but friendly, like she's pleased to see me. Weird. "Wow," she says, eyes flicking from my hair to my rucksack to my red wedge sandals. "Wow, I'm so glad you're here. I can't believe I've really got a sister at last." "I am not your sister," I say. Obviously, she's not very bright. "Stepsister then," Holly shrugs. "Mum's done us a roast dinner specially. Lamb and mint sauce and roasted potatoes. It's a celebration." "I'm vegetarian," I snap. "Didn't anyone tell you?" Holly's face falls. "Your mum didn't mention that," Dad says, frowning. "Pity. Well, I could open a tin of tuna." "No meat, no fish," I say coldly. "Right, no, of course. Cheese then. And some of the vegetables?" I shrug, stony-faced. I've always wanted to be veggie, Holly chirps. At least I've thought about it. You can tell me all about it, Scarlett. You'll be sharing my room. It's going to be cool. Yeah, right. I look at Dad and he raises one eyebrow shiftily. It's just one of several possible options, room-wise, he says. No, I correct him. It isn't. And you're at my school, Holly beams. Isn't that the best? I've told everyone about you. Oh, yeah? No pressure then. She is nuts, clearly. I shake my head. You're at the primary school, I point out, quite patiently, I think. Yes, in Killimore. She grins. I'm just finishing 3rd class, but of course it's just a one-teacher school, so we're all mixed in together. Our teacher's called Miss Madden. I'm 12, I tell Holly, nearly 13. I'll be going to the secondary school, okay, with the big kids. Holly frowns and looks at Dad. Actually, Holly's right, he says sheepishly. The system is slightly different in Ireland. You'll be at the primary school until the end of term, and then in September you'll go on to the secondary in Westport. It's not a step backwards or anything. Both of the other kids in 6th class are the same age as you. Both, I echo. There are only 2 other kids my age. I've got loads of tips on settling in, Holly babbles. The tricky bit is when someone says something in Gaelic, but of course we learn it in school anyway, so you'll soon catch on. Gaelic? I wrinkle my nose. You know, Irish. We have to study it, Holly says. I'll teach you a bit. Céim míle fáilte. It means 100,000 welcomes. 100,000 butterflies settle suddenly in my stomach. I have a bad feeling about this place, a very bad feeling. I sink down onto a kitchen chair. Primary school. Can it get any worse? It can, of course. A small, plump woman with fair, wavy hair and witchy blue eyes comes into the kitchen, wiping her hands on a big floral apron. Clare. Oh, Scarlett, hi. She beams, squeezing my arm. We're so glad to have you here, really. You're very welcome, and I know you're going to love it here just as much as we do. I sit still, frozen, speechless. I can't think of a single clever put-down. Why didn't they warn me? Why didn't they say? Why didn't someone tell me Clare was pregnant? So a real big shock for Scarlett. You're going to have to tune in tomorrow to see what happens next, but I'm going to just give you a spoiler here and say it's dramatic. Okay, before I say goodbye, I just wanted to point out, I'm sitting in the fireplace. I'm not really sure where. I keep thinking I should vary the locations where I'm reading from, but you can see one of my prized possessions, beautiful old typewriter, which my daughter Cathy and Caitlin found it in a junk shop in Galloway years and years ago, and I think we paid £2 for it. I don't know. I love it, and one of my little dog on wheels is there as well. I know people have been commenting on the dogs that keep sneaking into the backgrounds here. So yeah, you will know from this chapter that Scarlett's now in Ireland. She wasn't very impressed with what she's seen so far, but actually, although Ireland is very interesting and different to the UK, it's absolutely my favourite place on earth. And I hope that Scarlett is going to come to love it every bit as much as I do. But let's just say it could be a difficult and slow process for her. So, yeah, you please all stay safe, stay home, look after yourselves and look after each other. And if there's somebody that you're missing right now, why not send them, a message, a little video chat, anything you can think of to cheer somebody else up, because it's going to cheer you up too. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next chapter, chapter 7 of Scarlett. Till then, take care.